A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us for the Lunchtime News this afternoon. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and I'm going to be giving you the news the next 30 minutes. So sit tight, let's get started. In our first story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has encouraged the people in Sembabule, Gomba and Chisozi to embrace zero grazing in order to increase their milk yields and enhance their incomes. He also urged them to share wealth in form of shares rather than dividing it among families. Museveni was at a familiarization meeting where ministers were present to get acquainted with the model farms introduced to support people's livelihoods. Details in this report.
Cabinet has paid a courtesy visit to the farmers in Sembabule district to assess the progress of the model farms introduced by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni aimed at enhancing people's livelihoods.
Naye 2011 newajiwa omusomo ogwa paadi Museveni yatugabira ebintu ebyo okulima kasooli n'emmwanyi naffe netugaa nti twagala kirime kya mmwanyi era makituwa mbungi.
From the onset, families were involved in maize production, which proved to be unsuccessful. But later, they embarked on coffee production, which has by far uplifted many of the families in Sembabule district.
Tulina yike eziwera abiri nga tuzigula mu mmwanyi za President Museveni zeyatuwa tukungula twatuma tukwekulaakulanya tulyoke tulabe ebirala were teeka abaana mu masomero kati situkyabikola tufungula bulungi ne tuzayo abaana mu masomero ne tuzayo akasente n'akalala akasigadde ne kakola ebintu bye twagala atukulaakulanya nnyo ekitiibwa n'amapoloti tuguze.
The Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Major Jessica Alupo, headed a team of cabinet and state ministers, including the heads of the legislative and the judicial arm of government, to get first-hand information on how the model farms have impacted people's livelihoods.
Ministers, this farmer has 4.5 acres of coffee, and from those 4.5 acres of coffee, he gets 36 million annually. And he has 300, they call them stools of bananas. Scientifically, they are stools of bananas. And from those bananas, he gets 24 million annually.
Other dignitaries include the Central Executive Committee members of the ruling party and other top officials in the National Resistance Movement. The officials also engaged with and appreciated testimonies from the best model farmers in dairy, agriculture and the 4-acre model in Sembabule, Gomba and Chisozi.
Ente magana ana waziteza mu mitwalo 5 buli mezi 5 nobona okora amagoba ga miliyoni 200. Omwaka notunga miliyoni 800 oyireho expenses oyireho sente zo mbazi na byona
30 za kartuti ntukusima president okatretera project ya Sembegu ya estate
nikwebaza okora project z'abanyayuganda zono kaziha mutoka itera kibuno kakoreya bihingi okakoreya bashubuzo okakoreya bariso okakoreya buri muntu otarihe oketorora buri mu wena
na yebare is saying that Uganda yatunga is of the impression that everybody in Uganda is rich because for him is now rich.
According to the president, in the early 90s, when he bought land in Chisozi, he found that people were suffering in poverty, which prompted him to embark on programs for livelihood enhancement.
They had no problem with poverty. They were just there. So I started talking with them. Then I brought my groups here, Mrs. Kakwenzile, Lydia Baremezi. They came here, and we now, because the people around here, some of them are cultivators, I gave them the 4 acres model, which is what we put in the manifesto of 1996.
Farmers also relayed challenges, including cattle diseases, that affect their operations and businesses, though some reported having received vaccines for their cattle.
Kushabaho ekitiinisa batuyambe batumare hezwa bajeme amagana gaitu tukore sente farming erimu sente yebareho ekitiinisa niitwe nitubaasa tukatunga sente aha bwawe.
Twine na katare kamate amate nitugakamana bagagura shiringi 5 aha dayare omukani bagatwihiraho shiringi 4 nabwo ekyo twine ntasi.
The president encouraged people to migrate from free range to zero grazing to increase milk yields.
Hatoro ejeni uhuru inaza kubatamu okubagira ntumwene ebyokusetuka ente nishisho munyatsi muhingiro munyatsi muitemere zirire hamwe nija kama mnongo kukira hato kwirukama. That's the message, that you go from free range to zero grazing.
He also advised homesteads to share wealth in the form of shares rather than dividing it. Ivan Kahwa and Dan Lugemwa, UBC News.
Furthermore, Caritas Uganda has launched a month of environmental action aimed at protecting and conserving the environment. Speaking at a press conference, Reverend Father Hilary Muhengano, the National Director of Caritas Uganda, called upon the government to enact a law on wetlands and consolidate various provisions to protect wetlands in the country. Now, Uganda is currently preparing to mark World Environment Day on 5th of June 2024 in Sironko District, and in that regard, this was justified.
Uganda, Reverend Father Hilary Muhengano.
As we celebrate the 2 events this year, the situation is worrying. Global temperatures have risen to unprecedented levels, while water bodies and air have been polluted by industrial and domestic waste to a level of emergency. Greenhouse gases are posing grave risks to human health and the survival of many life forms, and sensitive biodiversity such as wetlands and natural forests are on the verge of extinction.
On this World Environmental Day, as it focuses on the crucial issue of plastic pollution, plastic waste chokes our oceans, harms wildlife, threatens human health, and civil society across Uganda are at the forefront to fight against plastic pollutions. We therefore advocate for the ban on single-use plastics, promote the use of reusable alternatives, and raise awareness about the dangers of plastic pollutions.
I want us to remember that the power to effect change lies in our hands, and every action, no matter how small, counts in the protection of the environment and Mother Earth. And also, let's remember that together we can create a future where people live in harmony with nature, and where sustainable development is not just an ideal situation, but it's a reality.
We only need to re-engage to see that this law is taken back and it is passed to have the total ban. And I want to tell you, I'm not a spokesperson of the minister. I know our minister is very passionate about it, and you will be informed one day that yes, it is getting back to the parliament.
Yeah. Thank you.
The American Tower Corporation, ATC Uganda, and Uganda Development Bank have concluded a blood donation drive to bolster the much-needed blood bank at Mengo Hospital. Mengo Hospital and MyNet are technical partners in this initiative, which is part of a broader effort to increase the availability of safe blood across the nation. This initiative is part of a broader effort to increase the availability of safe blood across the nation. And this drive successfully attracted employees from the partners, institution and members of the public. Speaking during the event, Ms. Dorothy Semanda, the Chief Executive Officer of ATC Uganda, emphasized the importance of safe and sufficient blood supplies in saving lives. We had a chance to talk to Joshua Mwesiga, the Director of Strategy and Corporate Affairs at Uganda Development Bank.
Of blood, and therefore with our partnership, launch of our partnership this morning, we aim to collect as much blood as we can from staff, from partners, from our customers and the general public to ensure we have enough stocks to address these deficiencies. As you well know, blood is critical in addressing maternal health, neonatal health, and also blood required to treat patients with injuries sustained in emergencies like accidents, and therefore it's a noble duty for every citizen in Uganda to contribute to ensuring that we have enough blood. So with that, we encourage every member of the public to participate in this call, and we are glad to note that as staff of UDB and as partners with ATC and Minet, we will do our job to ensure that we contribute to this noble cause.
The Uganda Police has invited the officials from the National Unity Platform, NUP, for an engagement to resolve the standing collusion against the party nationwide mobilization arrangements. The police spokesperson, Fred Nanga, says that as per the standing suspension statement 6 born on the NUP mobilization campaign, there is a need for security and NUP leaders to forge a way forward.
Last year, security released a suspension document stopping National Unity Platform nationwide mobilization tours over non-compliance.
The NUP continues to blatantly breach the police guidelines. We have attached a copy of our letter dated 13th September 2023, which we communicated to them, clearly indicating areas where they blatantly breached the guidelines that we gave to them, and it costed some people's lives. Others lost property, others had their properties damaged, and so on and so forth.
On Wednesday, 22nd of May 2024, NUP embarked on the nationwide mobilization and other party arrangements amidst security resentment. The arranged mobilization activities in Kamuli district, Busoga sub-region, were stopped by security and some party members arrested.
They were required to comply with the following guidelines in advance. Avail to the Inspector General of Police the comprehensive program and schedule of the intended activities detailing location, dates and time for each activity, with the numbers of expected participants and any other information essential for security planning. We also asked them for proof of permission from owners of venues to be used, measures for public safety and health in place at each of the venues for meetings.
The party then wrote a protest note to Uganda Police condemning security mishandling on the 22nd of May.
When policing all acts of public order, our actions are backed by the laws and guiding principles indicated above. It is also not true that NUP is specifically targeted and restricted from mobilizing and organizing itself, but unlike other political parties and pressure groups that have remained law-abiding, the NUP continues to blatantly breach the police guidelines.
Uganda Police has resolved to meet with NUP officials for engagement and forge the way forward for other party activities. The meeting is slated on the 27th of May 2024 at police headquarters in Inaguru.
We want to take this opportunity as the police leadership to invite them for an interaction on Monday, the 27th of May 2024 at 10 a.m. in the main boardroom at police headquarters, Naguru.
This has come at a time when police has again stopped the planned NUP activities in Palisa district, where the trail convoy was intercepted at Sezibwa Bridge along Kayunga Road. Abdul Nasser Lubwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
13 Uganda startups have been selected to participate in the 2024 GTEx Africa Innovation Investment Expo in Morocco. This will exhibit generational problem-solving technologies ranging from agriculture, financial, climate change, among others. Details in this report.
13 Ugandan startups will participate in the upcoming GTEx Africa 2024 Innovation Investment Expo in Morocco. The participation is a significant opportunity for the Ugandan startups to gain exposure to a wider market.
As they graduate and leave the academy, we are purposefully and intentionally positioning them in front of investors. And one of the ways is the GTEx, as they've talked about, then also taking them to Korea, but also with the deal books that we do for each of them. We position them at each and every stage that we are at. We may not take all of them to every investment forum that we go to across the world, but we position our businesses to ensure that they get the investment that they need.
The GTEx Africa Expo is a major platform for showcasing advancements and fostering connections within the tech industry across Africa.
Also looking at their ability to integrate tech into their businesses. So GTEx Africa, like we mentioned, is a technology event. So all these companies have to demonstrate that they're either tech-oriented or tech-enabled. They should be having technology somewhere in the business model for them to really meaningfully benefit from this platform.
The Youth Startup Academy, working alongside with the Hive Collab, has provided $200,000 in startup investment capital to support these innovations.
The investors also want to invest where they see that others have come in. So we are taking that first initiative and first step to invest in our businesses. We are investing in 13 businesses right now in different tiers based on what they have shown us.
The selection of these startups reflects a focus on addressing critical needs in Africa, particularly in climate change mitigation and financial technology advancements.
When we had GTEx Africa, the mentality is that you're going to find only African companies, but we're pitching with companies from every continent, and it was such a tough competition.
Actually, I think for any SME that is either stuck or trying to figure out how do I get to the next step, I encourage you to really apply if you get the chance.
The expo takes place from May 29th to 31st, 2024 in Marrakesh of Morocco. It is expected to attract a large audience of investors, industry leaders and innovators from across the continent. Abdul Nasser Lubwama for UBC.
And more from Lunchtime News today. Luero RDC Richard Bwabye Ntulume has advised NGOs operating in Uganda to also include the boy child in their development programs. Luero RDC Richard Bwabye Ntulume has made this call while presiding over a graduation ceremony for BRAC MasterCard Foundation Cohort 1 graduates for Greater Luero region held at Africa Guest House, Nabagaya in Luero District.
Training, and I should say that under the component of life skills training, we have been in position to improve the decision-making skill of adolescent girls and young women. They are able to make decisions on how to save their money, how to invest their money. We also improved their skill in making a personal decision, when to marry and when not to marry. On the other area, we have also changed their perception and decisions in budgeting. You know, budgeting is an issue which needs to be known under the entrepreneurship training. So we provided them knowledge on how to budget and also manage their budgets. And economic empowerment, we have been in position to provide livelihood support to over 1,500 adolescent girls and young women who completed the program. And this has helped them to generate income. And right now, as I speak, they are able to generate income and provide for their household needs. They are able to pay for the school fees needs of their children. They are able to buy scholastic materials of their children.
We supported children who are in primary school and those who are candidates of P7 and Senior 4. We gave them registration fee for UNEP, and then we supported 1,579 participants under our education support to retain them at school and then ensure that they complete the school. Then under the Village Savings and Loans Association, we were able to form 80 groups of VSLA, and out of the 80 groups for the region, we managed to save cumulatively 151,394,000.
Just want to appeal to Black International and MasterCard Foundation that in their next program, they should include the boys in those programs. They have trained the girls, they have acquired skills, they are knowledgeable now, but during their lifetime we are going to stay with the boys who are not trained. So it's important that in their next programs they include the boys also, so that they acquire the skills that are necessary for the boys.
And the UBC Lunchtime News shall take a short commercial break and be back with sports news. Please do stay tuned.
Sigikira mulimo gwenkola gukanikira baba customer kwa sobuni kimba n'obwiro obukutwala sente isomero ati ncho amukolesa enkola ya MTN mobile money ni migasta 10,65 star 8 ntekam kodi namba y'omwana genda sente ninsasola ku lumi ntaino kuteribanizwa koni katunge simu kuruga mu MTN bantereire kubantereire okubanza ntakikirize nkaba amanyire bali bafere hanyuma nagenda nakakuza MTN yao nagamba ntungire simu ino kuluga mu MTN kyamazima okuba nkabanta amanyire nti aliyo promotion hanyuma madam akola MTN yangambira kyamazima kubasima muno mwebale muno akasente kabaire kenja kusasula school fees tamwe kuija bakasasuire akandi nja kasasulira mu bagenzi baye abatabandi mwebale muno.
Together we're unstoppable. In the Pearl of Africa, we move to many sounds. The sound of new beginnings. The sound of hope. The sound of anticipation. But today marks the dawn of a new sound. The sound of celebration, the sound of thousands of people across Uganda realizing that soon they can dream, play, and win with the Uganda National Lottery. Get ready for Uganda's very own National Lottery, operated by Ituba. Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Gear up, grab your running shoes and join the race for life. Run 42, 21 or 5 kilometers to equip Kisoro Hospital's very first ICU. Then, after the finish line, groove all night at the ultimate dance showdown with DJs and performers from Uganda and Kigali. Secure your sport at virungamountainmarathon.org and be a part of history. Save the date, June 1st, 2024 at Shaza Ground, Kisoro Town. Race for a cause. Run for life.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Lunchtime News, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now take you into the sports news. Afro Unity Sports Foundation, a non-profit organization, together with the Ministry of Health, organized the just concluded Afro Fan Fest, a community medical and sports camp. Our reporter John Bansentamo has more details.
The role of sport goes beyond physical exercise and the wish to excel, and encompasses a very fundamental pillar of community mobilization. This has been evidenced during the first ever Afro Fan Fest, which is a community medical camp that uses the sport of baseball 5 as a conduit to attract masses.
Together with the Ministry of Health, we just organized Afro Fan Fest here in Butabika, where we invited 7 villages from around the area, where we have the elderly come for testing and screening of all diseases. And then the young kids, girls and boys, we had them play some baseball 5. Talent identification and talent growth is what we look at as well. We want to change lives as much as we can through impacting communities with our tool being sports. We are coming to your community anytime soon. So be ready for us when we come.
I have learned many things. I have learned how to play this new game, and this new game was so fun.
I've learned many things during this occasion. I've learned to cooperate with my friends. I've learned many things. Uniting, we have to unite.
The camp used baseball 5 as a tool to impact the youth, educating and offering health services to the community, which attracted more than 1,500 people from the neighboring communities of Kampala Road, Butabika.
This campaign has just started, and we hope to extend the campaign to Nansana next time and parts of Waise ghetto still. Why the ghetto? It's because these guys are facing a lot of challenges there. Low medical support, and their lives is mostly affected.
The medical camp tackled ailments like HIV/AIDS, syphilis, malaria, hepatitis, sickle cell, and testing of glucose levels. The next health camp is expected in about a month, but before that, the foundation is to engage in regular visits to hospitals for sanitation purposes.
Now, at least once a year, Uganda Olympic Committee hosts learners from several schools to teach them about Olympism and how its values are all embracing in the modern world. Now, the latest to visit were learners from Kampala Community International School.
Contrary to what many think and believe, sports, especially Olympic sports, has many values that are even necessary for their existence in the public domain. For instance, the Olympics emphasize the 3 key values of respect, friendship, and excellence, which, when embraced in real life, are pertinent for coexistence.
The same values we have in sports, where we need excellence on the field of play, respect your opponent, and promote friendship with your different people from different countries. Those values transcend both sport and also can go into real life.
It's the reason that at least once a year Uganda Olympic Committee hosts learners with emphasis on young ones.
Collectively, it would be good to inspire, because we'd like to see more schools taking up sport, more schools supporting sporting activities, more schools putting in place facilities, because collaboration with schools is a very integral part.
This year, the beneficiaries of this project have been learners of Year 1 of Kampala Community International School, Naguru.
It inspires them with their learning. It encourages them to never give up and to be more interested in the world around them. And lots of them have left today, even if they're not going to be sports players, but they've left being inspired to do their very best and to be the top of their game and to never give up.
The learners benefited from tutorship of Olympian Ganzi Mugula, who captained the Uganda's team at the London Olympics in 2012.
Mr. Gandhi told us to work hard, never give up, and to try our best and make friends.
Some of them are saying they want to be lawyers, doctors, teachers, skaters, boxers. So they were really young, 6 years and 7 years, but it doesn't matter how young they are, as long as we start speaking to them and getting into their minds to inspire them to chase higher dreams and reach further than we have ever reached. So really my job today was to inspire the young generation who are going to be the adults for tomorrow.
Uganda will, in the next 62 days, be represented in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games in France. So far, about 20 athletes, including runners, swimmers, a cyclist, and a rower, have already qualified for the Games, while some, like boxers, are still in qualifiers. We talked to Olympian Ganzi Mugula, who captained Team Uganda at the London Olympics in 2012, on what exactly athletes must do between now and the competition time.
The world, for those who have been following the different final competitions before the qualification period elapses, you can see that most of athletes are now fine-tuning. So, for example, if I'm a runner, I'm fine-tuning speed work because I've already done endurance. You're not going to build the endurance now. So it's speed work and race plan. For sports like weightlifting, you're now doing flexibilities, making sure that you're nice and simple and flexible, but also doing final touches on how you're going to approach the competition. So everyone is also getting now, it's now more of a mental game. Because you've done the physical work, there's nothing really much you're going to change in 63 days, which is really significant, unless you're on some drug which you're taking, which you're not aware of. But right now, you're really getting into the mental game, getting into what they call the zone to be ready for the competition. Right now, we have some athletes who are still doing final qualification, are boxers who are out in Thailand. So right now, they're still in competition mode, but soon transitioning to be ready for the game. So right now, it's more of a mental. Really 80% mental, 20% physical is what I can give you. So that's what I would do, and that's what I was at my time in 2011 to 2012.
And that brings us to the end of our lunchtime news bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Catch me later at the 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock bulletins tonight. My name once again is Mark Arnold Wadulo, and allow me thank my producers handling in the control room. Have yourselves a good afternoon.